Good morning, everyone. It's just about daylight, and I need to go feed my little goats. And I'm going to keep them in and let them have their freshies this morning in the barn. I normally don't like doing that, but it's kind of rainy, and I kind of want to keep their feet dry today. Um, and so I'm going to feed them in the little barn. And so I've got their salad, fruit salad, and salad ready for them to go. And then I'll go do my chores in the rain and mud and muck. So I thought I'd do this first because after I do that, I'm not going to be very happy from sliding around in the mud. And, because I've got to go feed Solomon, and I'm pretty sure I'll have a big wet mud paw print somewhere, probably on my face. I normally get hit by birds and fences. I mean, you always see that I have all these little things. And I'll tell you why that's important here in just a moment. But I want to give you some background, and I want you to understand that I forget that people don't have the background that I've had. I forget that people don't have the skills that I learned growing up. I mean, it was just everyday stuff: shooting guns, bow and arrows, um, slingshots. I learned all of that. Um, how to skin out squirrels, coons, whatever, rabbits. Um, I forget that people didn't have that. But you know what? I had the best of three worlds, and I'm going to tell you about the best of my three worlds. Number one, always a city kind of vibe going on. Um, Downtown Cincinnati, the greater Cincinnati area, always grew up in that area. So I went to the symphony. I went to the playhouse. I went to other events downtown Cincinnati. So many different events, ball games, things like that. So I had the city vibe. Okay. Now, my dad's dad owned property here in Indiana. I think he started off with 200 acres or something like that. I don't know for sure, but it was beautiful property. And a lot of it was mountainside, not mountainside, hillside, because it wasn't mountainous, but there were some tough hills. And if you got to the top of the hill and you started going down the other side, you were in a completely different property area. It was There was a lot of property. Um, and he was from Kentucky, from the Appalachian Mountains. And so he had a lot of skill that I learned from. Now, my mom's family was from Kentucky in the Appalachian Mountains, and I learned a lot from my grandmother and my grandfather down there. He fished and trapped. Now, my grandpa up here hunted. He did not trap, but he used hounds, and so that's why he wasn't really for traps. Um, so down there, my granny, my mom's mom, to me was a pioneer woman. They did not have running water um, my whole youth. Whenever they built the new house, they got running water in there. They always had a well, an outhouse. They had a spring house, but she could preserve anything and everything that she grew in one way or another, drying, canning, or just having. I don't. She knew how to do it all. They had a very, I think it was a successful greenhouse. I'm not sure. I mean, there were a lot of people that came to their greenhouse and bought their stuff, so they had done very well. I think um, my puppy down there, I think he was like into, he was, I think he was more mentally doing like the finances and stuff to where they were making pretty good money on what they grew. Now, I'll tell you what, they had the most amazing blueberry bushes I've ever seen in my life. But, they had that connection with I guess, Burpee or wherever. But anyway, I am so thankful that I've had all three kind of lives. Maybe that don't sound right, but knowing how to hunt, knowing how to skin and cook what I hunt, knowing how to go dig taters and know how to preserve them, or know how to fish and preserve the fish for winter, um, drying beans, drying apples, to knowing what ginseng and golden root are and hunting them. And then the next week going to the playhouse and watching Annie. you know, I had that. But learning skills, and I forget that people don't have those skills. They didn't have that raising. And that's when you allow your roots to let you leaf out in many directions. And my skill in this day and age is knowing how to do those things, but also knowing how to keep my economy through being a smart shopper and looking for deals and ways to use one thing for another. Um, like fuel points. I save $1 every time I go and fill up my car. And I make sure that I'm a month ahead. So that way I'm always a month ahead. That's a skill and you should learn it. You should learn how to coupon or learn how to work a store for your benefit. Okay, they're offering it to you. You just have to know how to get it. Like knowing their sales cycles. About what time of the year does a certain kind of product go on sale, and finding extra coupons for those products about the time you think that cycle is going to come out. That's a skill. It's a skill to know how to um, go to the grocery store, buy some cucumbers, and make some pickles. Just saying. This is why I am going to start a series and start reading a little bit out of these here and there. But if you've ever noticed, I've always got these little sores all over me and scabs, and they're all over everywhere. Well, the facial ones are ingrown hairs. Now, the ones, well, no, I will take that back. Sometimes they're from a chicken winging me when I'm trying to get them. But these are normally like from chicken wire fences. And I've got a really bad habit of just I never had a lot of fingernails growing up, and so I guess now when I'm sitting there reading or looking at something on the computer, I kind of pick them a little bit, and I really don't mean to. So I thought, okay, so I wanted to stop in here, and I thought this was really funny, and this is why I brought this book up here. Um, I wanted to kind of see what a home remedy from this book would be. So I got in here. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it? And by the way, I broke the seal on this book, and it broke my heart because the pages are already starting to come around, and it's never been looked at before. So I just screwed up everything. Okay, so it talks about sores. And I have plenty of ointments, and I put them on there, but I don't know. It's just like a nervous habit. And I really hate being that in depth, but I want you to understand because a lot of people in my town think, I don't know. I can't even say what they think. But anyway, it says, put butter around the sore so a dog will lick it. The dog's saliva will cure it. Please don't ever do that. Please don't. Just please don't. My grandmother used to say that because she had the books. But then she would go put you some triple antibiotic cream on it or something. She never did that. Put a little lard or something equally greasy on the sore. Then dust the sore with sulfur. The grease will hold the sulfur on. Okay, now we have Vaseline. Okay, And we can use Vaseline as our surfactant, surfactant to hold our powder on, and that is good. Sulfur powder is good, but there are much better ones now. But that's what they do, like at nursing homes when they have wounds. They'll take Vaseline and they'll use like their sulfur oxide or some other powdery kind of stuff and mix it together to put it on your wounds. Um, Make a salve of white pine resin and mutton tallow. No, we don't need sheep fat. Um, Vaseline and then your other ingredient would work great. Mash up yellow root and put it on the sores. Yellow root is actually golden seal root, and that probably is a very, very good thing to have. And I know what it looks like. I have hunted it, I have dug tons of it. And so I will be trying to find some golden seal root very soon to have in my repertoire of medical home remedies. Use a salve made from mutton tallow, balm of gilead buds, and brush and fresh turpentine from pine trees. Well, please don't ever do that. But if you do have a chance to get some of the powder, some zinc oxides or sulfur oxides, things like that, that's not a bad thing to have in your medical, but also have your Vaseline or Vaseline like stuff because you're not going to want to use fat. That's it. Y'all have a great day. Hugs from a distance. I got to go feed the goats. They're in the barn. It's raining. It's a bad day. But hopefully I can show you some animals today, maybe even in the rain. I don't know. Bye, y'all. Hugs from a distance.